Welcome back to the Christian Women's Health Collective podcast. This week, we are going to be talking about fasting, which happens to be Bree's specialty. So hang in there and let us know what you think about the structure that we're doing this month. We'd really like your feedback, and I'll turn it over to Bree.
Awesome. So first off, I just want to say, if you have any questions about fasting, share those below so we can answer them next month in our podcast when we do. Also, if you have questions about Leigh Ann's specialty, Julie's specialty, or Sheri's specialty, because we want to make sure that we get those answered. So I kind of just want to jump in and talk about why fast, because so many people have hangups about fasting. They're like, well, what is fasting? Fasting isn't safe. Like, I don't think it's helpful. It's not good for you. We should be eating all the time, doing all these things. So, and even when I first heard about fasting, I was like, I don't know about that, until I started doing all of the research, reading all of the research, and hearing people's experiences with fasting and how incredibly helpful and healthful it really is. But even more than that, I think you have to have a reason to fast, because, not eating is not the easiest thing in the world. We're so used to eating all the time, and our brains are wrapped around the idea that I need to eat every couple of hours, and food's just such a big part of life. And so the idea of not eating is a bit stressful to a lot of people. And so they just kind of poo-poo fasting, like, nah, it's not for me because I don't want to do it. It's hard. And that's kind of where I was like, it's really hard. I don't really want to do it. And so I think that's where a lot of people are at. We're just like, well, I don't really know that much about it. And we've just been taught that we have to eat all the time. And so I don't think I need to, or I don't think it's safe, like all those things. So I don't know. What were your ladies' first thoughts when you heard about fasting?
I thought it was just another fad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd been doing intermittent fasting, but I was like, yeah, I don't know that I really want to go without food. I'm good.
Exactly.
Intermittent fasting is easy compared to a more rigorous fast, for sure.
Yeah.
It was scary. Yeah. And I did it all wrong. My first long fast was, gosh, what did I do? 4 days. That was awful. That was so hard.
So yeah, there's definitely a wrong way to fast. It's better to be a little educated when you're jumping into fasting, but for the most part, you really have to have a reason to want to do it. And so I want to share just like a few of the reasons why maybe you should consider fasting. And I think the number one thing is autophagy, because and autophagy is the recycling of old cells into new cells, and basically getting rid of the old to come in with the new. And there really isn't any way for your body to do that except with fasting, or also some does occur with weightlifting. But really, fasting gives you the best benefit and increases autophagy exponentially while you're fasting. And so it's like a giant reset button for your body. And a lot of us need that reset button, right? Like, we as a society in the United States have an insane amount of disease, inflammation, and mental disorders, like all kinds of things, like just hard. Like, things are hard, right? But fasting improves so many things in your body that I don't know, I just can't fathom my life without fasting now that I've been fasting for so long. Because it's so simple, it's free, and it's just has an exponential amount of health benefits. Like, okay, so it decreases insulin resistance, and insulin resistance is a precursor to basically every type of disease out there, like cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, kidney disease, like heart disease, inflammatory conditions, autoimmune disorders, everything that you can think of, basically. So if you're lowering your intake of sugar, you can do that. Like the keto diet is kind of similar to fasting, not completely, just like, you know, lifting heavy weights can stimulate autophagy. Lowering your sugar intake can decrease inflammation and all those health risks and things like that. So can exercise, like that's going to decrease your health risks. But fasting also gives you autophagy. It increases your human growth hormone. It gives your gut a rest and a chance to heal, which is like that's where our health is, right? In our guts. So our health has a lot to do with what we eat and what we put in our bodies. And so giving our bodies a break from having to process food, it can then focus on healing other parts of our bodies and not just processing food and trying to get that into the cells. Because you were created to use fasting or to use fat as fuel. Like you were created to be able to go days without eating and still survive, right? That's how our ancestors survived. And so we were created to survive that way. So our bodies are made to do that. So we have to start training our bodies to use fat as fuel and not just sugar, so that we stop crashing and burning and hitting the wall and those kind of things. So fasting can really take your health to the next level, can really create an environment for healing in your body. It can help with food allergies and things like that. A lot of people that I've talked to who've done fasting, or people that we've coached who've done a lot of fasting, have healed their guts. They're able to eat things down that they weren't able to eat before. That's because they finally gave their body a break that they were needing. So like for me, I'm 42 years old and I had never fasted for the first, like 30, I'm trying to think how many years ago we started fasting, 4 or 5 years ago. For the first like 38 years of my life, I never fasted. I never gave my body a break to do anything about the inflammation that was happening. And so those first few fasts were a little bit rough. I'm not going to lie. Like it's weird wrapping your brain around not eating after you've been taught that that's the healthiest thing for you, when in fact it is not healthy to keep eating all the time. We shouldn't be eating constantly because that's not how we were created. So taking a break from eating can be so freeing in a lot of ways, and so good for your brain, for your body, for your soul. Like taking that time away from food, it gives you time to do other things and concentrate on other things. Like there's just so many facets of fasting that it's hard to touch on all of them. But my biggest reason for fasting was to heal my gut. And I did one 24-hour fast, and I felt 200% better. So because I had been dealing with some nasty stomach infections and stuff, and it made an incredible difference in my life. And I realized that I didn't want to end up with diabetes and heart disease and cancer like everyone else in my family. And I was like, you know what? I really need to get into more fasting. And so I did. And my health has been just exponentially better since I started incorporating fasting into my life. And so I cannot encourage you enough to try it. Just try skipping one meal and go from there. See how you feel.
Thanks, Bree.
I kind of went all over the place with that, but hopefully you got a few little nuggets out of there at least.
Sure. I did. I like you, Julie, thought that it would end up being a fad. And then as I started looking into Alzheimer's prevention, I saw that fasting is actually highly recommended for autophagy, for brain health and healing. Just having the ability to, let your body, your gut have the rest, because the gut is is like your second brain. And so if your gut's not healthy, your brain's not healthy. But I really can't wait till we get into the membership side of things, because I want to go back into another FDA rant If you're not in our membership, you're missing all of our FDA rants. I'm just here to tell you, because that's where we just kind of get real. But for the podcast portion of it, I will just put this out there. Breanne talked about how we are taught that we're supposed to eat every few hours. Basically, we're supposed to eat 8 hours out of 16 hours a day that we're pretty much awake. Like every 2 hours, we're told we need to have a meal and a snack and a meal and a snack. And it's nuts the amount of food that we're told to eat. And so when you look at the obesity rate in this country, and you look at the sickness rate in this country, and you pay attention to how that pyramid is designed and what they teach us in school on how we're supposed to eat, and what the nutritionists and dietitians that have gone to public or private colleges and learned about what we're supposed to eat through public curriculums, we're taught that we are supposed to put all of this stuff in our bodies, lots and lots of grains based on that food pyramid, lots and lots of bread. And then this is what's supposed to make us healthy. And now we look at magazines and we look at obesity, and we're supposed to recognize that as healthy and accept it and affirm it. And that's a really dangerous perspective to be in, because we are watching people die younger and younger. In fact, I just saw an article the other day that said that the average life expectancy in America has dropped yet again to 76 or 74.1 years. So we're just dying younger and younger, and you got to wonder why. So that's my 2 cents for the podcast. I have much more I want to say. Anybody else have anything to say before we go into the membership?
I know you ladies have both done some fasting. What's your reason for fasting? What might motivate somebody else to fast?
Mine is Alzheimer's prevention. Initially, it was weight loss, but now it's just Alzheimer's prevention.
Yeah, weight loss is a huge motivator.
Right, weight loss is
Yeah.
always the reason that most women start anything, and then we find reasons to continue, because the weight comes off and then we gain it again, and I just don't like the yo-yo factor. So there's got to be a good why, and weight loss is never the best why, because you lose the weight, you gain it.
I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know that weight loss with like a 24-hour fast is really. I mean, because I am fasting right now, and I weighed myself this morning because I'm curious. You know, the first time I did it, I didn't lose anything, and I thought, well, that was interesting. But now I will lose a little bit, but it comes back fairly quickly. It's not like gone. But I think for me, it's more the reset. I think it's important for the reset, for the break, for the, letting your body have that rest. Like the ladies were saying, the gut is probably it's all healing comes from the gut. So, having your gut healthy is really important. So those would be my reasons, to have that. One of the biggest benefits that I generally get is I do have energy and focus. So that is because I know once you switch over into the ketones, then you will have more of that. And so I do feel that when I do it. And I'm doing anywhere between it usually works out to maybe 16 to 18 hours, depending upon when I stop eating. Then what was it, Tuesday night? I'm going to Thursday morning.
Amazing.
Crazy.
Where you've created a monster. The fasting has been fascinating. For me, I think it was the health benefits of what it can do for the body. I mean, when you read about it, it's just fascinating. But the powerful part of fasting is doing it correctly. And so what was really intriguing to me was all the things that I would hear about fasting from so many people that fast. to discover that, well, you think you're fasting, but you could be causing a lot more damage than good, because you're waking up and you're eating all this sugar. And so you're driving your insulin up, and then you're crashing it back down. And then you think you're fasting, but you're going and having sugar again. And so it's just this crash and burn all day long. And I'm sorry, you're not fasting. And so to learn those things of like, okay, I think I'm doing it, but I'm really doing it wrong, was just eye-opening to me. I think that's where really the beauty comes in, is like when you realize that you're doing it correctly and your cells are happy and your body's happy. And, you know, it's hard, but when you know the scientific outlook, you know, I mean, there's like evidence that fasting for over 4-day period is like resetting your body. It's just better than taking antibiotics. And I think that the way that we see it, the way that our minds view it from society, has just kind of messed that up. So that was kind of my reason for fasting, is just because it's interesting, and there's so many benefits there. It's like, why not do it? But again, got to do it right. Got to do it right.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. Well, hey, YouTube and podcast world, did you know that we all have independent businesses, and that we all have courses and membership groups and lots of different things that we offer and the like? So if you're interested in finding out more about what we offer individually, those links are in the comment section below. I encourage you to go check out our websites or whatever it is that we have. I personally don't have a website, but I do have courses available. And I know that everyone here in this membership collective has something available to you that definitely is prevalent to their specialty. So go check that out. And we will close out this podcast now by asking you to please
Like,
Subscribe.
Share.
and don't forget to click that notification bell so you know every time we put out a new podcast. It definitely helps our algorithm, and we are going to go get into the training and talk some more smack on the FDA. Come join us. See you there.
In the sky, don't let me fall like this again.